Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So dear students, after completion of revision test 1, today we are going to revise the syllabus of revision test 2, in which in the same way we will discuss all the things as we discussed in revision test 1. First, we are going to discuss all the chapters which are coming in your revision test 2, okay, from first flight and snapshots. Then we will discuss the writing part and also grammatical part. Okay, so let us begin. Today we are going to revise, we are going to discuss the important points and which types of questions are asked in your examination on the basis of your chapters in literature. So in revision test 2 we know that the in first flight there are two stories about flying, and the next chapter which I do not remember, I need to go through the syllabus. So okay, so I'm going to show you on the screen and discuss the same, okay, the chapters which are going to come in your revision test 2. Let us begin. Two stories about flying. As this chapter is having two parts, his first flight and the black aeroplane. So first of all we are going to discuss the key points of his first flight. In this story, dear students, in this chapter we all know that it is about a seagull who was sitting alone on the ledge. His brothers and sisters, they had flown away already, and parents also busy with his brothers and sister. His brother and sister. Parents, brothers, sisters, they came repeatedly and asked him to fly. But the seagull, afraid, and he could not fly. He dared not to fly because he was afraid of flying. He was thinking that his wings would not support. Next day, standing on the brink of the ledge, when he was standing on the brink of the ledge, he tries to fly. He tried to fly but could not. Next day, when he was standing on the brink of the ledge, he tried to fly but he could not fly because of fear, because he got afraid, because he felt afraid. Now he was feeling hungry as no one approached him, and his parents decided not to give him anything to eat and drink. So that is why he was feeling hungry, and he saw his brothers and sisters enjoying food. He cried and begged his mother to bring him. Mother picked a piece of fish and was flying across him. When he was maddened out of hunger, then he cried for food. And his mother picked a piece of fish and she was flying across him. Seagull moved towards and he started tapping the rock with his foot. Seagull moved forward and started tapping rock with his foot. The mother came nearer, halted almost. The mother came nearer, but she stopped when she was almost within the reach of his beak. Mother flew with the food, having food in her beak, but she did not went to the seagull. She stopped when she was just near to the seagull. Seagull surprised madness by hunger. Seagull was surprised out of madness by hunger. He dived at the fish because he was very hungry. Out of his hunger, he could not bear the hunger. So this time, out of madness by hunger, he dived at the fish. Seagull now started feeling outwards and downwards with a scream, as it was his first flight. So that is why with a scream, Seagull started feeling outwards and downwards. First he got terrorized, but his heart stood still. So first when he dived on the fish and he started flying, so first of all he got terrorized and his heart stood still. Not falling headlong now, but suddenly he gathered courage and he saw that he was not falling headlong. He was no more falling. He started flying downwards and outwards. Thus, the seagull took his first flight. So, it was the way by which he took his first flight. He forget that he was not able to fly earlier. So he forget all about the fear which he possessed earlier. Now he was flying over the sea. Thus, dear students, he made his first flight. So when we were going through the line by line explanation, so we saw in the story that how Seagull's parents left him alone. They did not give him anything to eat so that he could learn how to fly. So thus they taught him how to fly and he took his first flight at the end. Thus his parents got success in teaching him the art of flying. Okay. Now let us go through passages for comprehension. First we are going through the solved comprehension, then there will be comprehensions for your practice. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles away. So where was the seagull standing? So the seagull was standing on his ledge. Why did he not go with his family? So, because he was afraid to fly. The seagull, here spelling is wrong. The seagull tried to what? So, he tried to flap its wing as it was afraid. So, it's all about a solved passage. Now, dear students, unsolved passages are there. Already I have shared you this PDF. So you are supposed to, you must go through all unsolved passages and practice them. Ga, 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 he cried, begging her to bring him some food. Ga, call, An. She screamed back derisively. Sorry. Let's see once again. Ga, 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 he cried, begging her to bring him some food. Ga, call, An. She screamed back derisively, but he kept calling plaintively, and after a minute or so, he uttered a joyful scream. His mother has picked up a piece of the fish and was flying across to him with it. He leant out eagerly, tapping the rock with his feet, trying to get nearer to her as he flew across. But she was just opposite to him. She halted her wings motionless, the piece of fish in her beak almost within the reach of his beak. So now, dear student, these are the questions which you must practice. Third one, he screamed with fright and attempted to rise again, flapping his wings, but he was tried and he was tired and weak with hunger and could not rise, exhausted by the strange exercise. Now, questions for practice. Why did he scream with fright? He got over his fear of water. Dash. The young seagull. Again, these are two separate words, but these are not two separate words. Seagull is one word. Attempted to, the exercise was. So, dear students, you must practice these questions. Now, let us go through solved answer type questions. Why did the seagull take a long time to make his first flight? The young seagull took, dear student, you must pay attention here whenever the question is asked with did in simple past tense. So while answering, you should use second form of the verb. So why did the young seagull take a long time to make his first flight? So the young seagull took a long time to make his first flight because he was afraid to fly. He thought his wings would not support him. Moreover, the great sea that stretched miles down terrified him. So these were the reasons because of which he dared not to fly. What did the young seagull do to attract his parents' attention? The young seagull wanted his parents to be with him to attract their attention and concern. He pretended to fall asleep. He stood on one leg and closes his eye. Okay, so this is what he did to attract his parents' attention. Once again, dear students, what did the young seagull do to attract? Okay, so the question is in simple past tense. So while answering, we are supposed to answer in simple past tense, as we use second form in affirmatives of simple past tense. So that is why in answer we are going to use wanted. That is why wanted has been used here. You must keep it remember beta, while answering your answer should be in the same tense as your question in. The young seagull wanted his parents to be with him to attract their attention and concern. He pretended. Okay, while answering, you should answer mostly in past according to the question. He pretended to fall asleep. He stood. Here you can also see. He stood on one leg and closes his eyes. You can also write here closed his eyes. Okay. So these are the questions for practice which you must practice. Now long answer type for your practice. Do you think that for the young seagulls hunger was a source of motivation? Explain. What difference do you find in the behavior of the young seagull in the very beginning and the end of the story? Seagull's mother was her first teacher as she taught him to fly. Explain. Okay, so these are the long answer type questions which you must go through. Now let us go through the second part of the story, which is Black Aeroplane. In this story, the writer is a pilot. He was flying the old Dakota over France and he was going back to England. He called Paris control room in the early morning and he was planning to reach his home by early morning to have breakfast with his family. So the writer here is a pilot and he is flying his old Dakota over France and he is going back to England. He calls Paris control room. I wanted to reach. He is planning to have a breakfast with his family in early morning. He is expecting to reach by early morning. After crossing Paris, he saw dark clouds and huge black mountains, and he could not fly over them. Also, he was not having enough fuel to fly around him. He thought once about going back to Paris. Once he thought he should go back to Paris, decided to take risk and fly through the clouds. But as he was a homesick, he wanted to reach house anyhow, so that is why he took the risk and flew over those risky clouds. He entered the clouds which were like huge mountains. Suddenly everything got dark. Aeroplane started jumping and twisting. His compass, radio, all other instruments, they got dead and he lost in storm. Suddenly he saw another aeroplane and the pilot made signs and asked him to follow. Suddenly in that huge mountain he saw another aeroplane in which the another pilot made him signs and asked him to follow. The writer followed him like an obedient child because he was not having any other option. He had no other option but to follow him like an obedient child. Only little fuel left to fly for 2 minutes more. So he checked that only little fuel left in the tank. With that fuel only he could fly for 5 to 10 more minutes. The black aeroplane still in front of him, but he found the black aeroplane whom he was following like an obedient child, still it was in the black aeroplane. Suddenly writer came out of the clouds. Suddenly he found himself out of those black mountain like clouds and saw the straight line of lights. And what was this? It was runway. So suddenly the writer found that as he was following the another aeroplane and he came out of those black mountains and now he could see a runway. He landed safely and went to control room as he wanted to know who was the other pilot, and he inquired about the other pilot. The lady in the control room informed that there was no other aeroplane or pilot in the storm. So the lady in the control room informed him that there was no other aeroplane flew that day. His aeroplane was the only which took the flight that day. He wondered who helped him out of the storm. He did not know who helped him to come out of the storm. So thus, dear students, we have seen this story ends with a mystery. No one knows so who helped him to come out from those black mountains which were risky. His the tank of his plane was running out of the fuel. Even though successfully he landed with the help of the another pilot about whom he inquired later, but got answer from the lady in control room that no plane flew that night. So it was really a mystery for the narrator as well as for the readers. Okay. Now let us go through some scene passages for comprehension. Solved answer type questions first. Let us go through solved scene comprehension. I was happy to be alone, high up above and sleeping countryside. I was flying my old Dakota aeroplane over France back to England. I was dreaming of my holiday and looking forward to being with my family. So what time of the day it was? It was night. He was dreaming of celebrating his holidays with the family. The old Dakota was flying to France. It was going towards England. Now scene passages. For practice. Which you must practice. I checked the map and the compass, switched over my second and last fuel tank, and turned the Dakota 12 degrees west towards England. Now these are the questions for practice which you must practice. Third one, after half an hour, after half an hour, the strange black aeroplane was still there in front of me in the clouds. Now there was only enough fuel in the old Dakota's last tank to fly for 5 or 10 minutes more. I was starting to feel frightened again. Suddenly I came out of the clouds and saw two long straight lines of the light in front of me. So after going through this paragraph, you will have to solve these questions. You must practice all the questions which we are discussing here, and also I have shared with you this PDF. So already you are having this with you. So lesson wise we are discussing now each and everything. In the same way you should practice and keep sending on my mail. Now let us discuss solve short answer type questions. Where was the pilot going? What made him feel happy? So the pilot was going to England from France. So he was feeling happy because this is the part of the answer actually. Okay, it is misprinting. This line is the part of the answer. He was going to England from France. He was feeling happy because he was looking forward to spend his holiday with his family and to have a good big English breakfast. Why did the pilot call the Paris control room the first time? Why could he not contact it in the second time? So the pilot called the Paris control room to inform the airport authorities about his flight to England. He also wanted to ask for proper direction. He could not contact it the second time because his radio was dead due to storm. So here 2 questions for practice. It wasn't an easy flight. When did the pilot get to know? How? Fourth one, how did the pilot decide to fly through the clouds? A long answer type for questions. Which you must go through. Again here a scene passage is given. Read it out and answer these questions, dear student. So here long answer type questions. So you must go through all the questions which are given in this PDF, which I have also shared with you. Okay, dear students, don't ignore a single question if you want to score better. So as I am revising your syllabus according to your revision test, so I have revised these two chapters which will be there in your revision test uh, 2. Okay, dear students, so you must practice these questions. Already this PDF file is with you. In my next video, I will discuss the remaining syllabus of revision test 2. So thank you students for watching this video. See you tomorrow.